My name is Jim Weisel. I'm in the School of Business. I teach accounting, everybody's favorite subject. Maybe. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk with you a little bit about using the iPad in the classroom. I've had an opportunity to now actually use it in the classroom. It's one thing to sit and think, okay, I'd like to be able to use this. It's something different to actually implement it in the classroom. And there's some things that you can do with the iPad that you might not otherwise be able to do. There is, of course, the cool factor of being able to walk in to the classroom with nothing other than the iPad. But there are some pros and cons. Like with all technology, there's some pros and cons. So I just want to talk about my experience of using the iPad. And this is going to be very informal, so if you have questions, if you have comments, if you've had an experience using the iPad, please have at it, and let's make this a conversation rather than just me sort of standing up here for 15 or 20 minutes talking to you. So the first thing is, one of the first questions that comes up is, can I actually use the iPad in the classroom? And the answer is sort of. Or maybe. The iPad 1, if you have an iPad 1, there is a significant constraint, and that is that the Apple operating system for the iPad 1 does not innately enable VGA out. Now, what Apple did was they allowed all of their application developers to determine whether that specific application would be able to use VGA out capability. But the operating system itself does not have that capability. They changed that with the iPad 2. The iPad 2 has that VGA out capability embedded. So it's not up to the individual application providers anymore. If you're using the iPad 2, then you have VGA out capability universally. If you're using the iPad 1, you're not necessarily out of luck. There is a way to jailbreak, software jailbreak, not hardware, but software jailbreak the iPad. And there's a company called Cydia, CYDIA.com. And they have a jailbroken version of the Apple operating system. Now, there are all of the commensurate technological issues going along with that. For example, if you jailbreak your iPad, whatever sort of warranties you had go away, right? There's some pros and cons, but I initially started out with the iPad 1, found with the help of some people, found the jailbroken version of the operating system, successfully installed it, and was actually using it in the classroom, and it worked fantastically. So it does work. It's just kind of a word of caution that if you decide to jailbreak, then whatever warranties or whatever you had, you're not going to be able to walk into the Apple store and say, something's not working right here now. They'll figure out pretty quickly that you're not using their version of the iOS. So you can use the iPad in the classroom. The easiest way here is simply to buy the VGA connector. And you can get that at the Apple Store or on Amazon or wherever, and it's about $30. So you can hardwire it to the classrooms here with the VGA connector. That's what we've got here. It works very well. I've had no issues at all using that VGA connector. I've gotten a couple of questions recently. Do we have the ability to connect the iPads wirelessly to the projector? There are a couple of software applications that are available. I tested one the other day. One is called Display Link, and the other one is called Air Display, I believe. Display link I tried. My recommendation is that's a no-go. I tried that yesterday, and the way both display link and air display function is they try to use the wireless network rather than IR or Bluetooth or something like that. They try to use the wireless network that exists. Display link, what happened every time I launched the application, it completely usurped my wireless router to the point where I had to reboot the router. So I tried it several different ways, trying different configurations of the router, and every time the application launched, it wiped out my internet connection completely. So that one I would say is a no-go. I have not tried air display. It works in a similar fashion.
I have tried air display and it works. It does work nicely.
Oh, okay, great. Now that that's like a $10 or $9.99 app.
Something like that. And what it does is it connects to the computer, and then you basically view it on the computer screen. You view what you're doing on your tablet.
Okay. Okay. Now that one also requires the app on both the host computer as well as the iPad.
It requires a connector app, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out any of that stuff, so I just stick it on the dot cam, and it actually works pretty well.
On the dot cam? Yeah. I've had. Yeah.
The quality of the picture is actually good.
Is decent? Okay. I like using the connector, but there's obviously different approaches or different ways to get it to work, whatever comfort level you're in. The connector itself is not all that bad. It's $30, and so it's okay. All right. Using the iPad then in the classroom, once you get it displayed for your students, obviously there are just almost an uncountable number of apps that are available, and everybody's going to have their own favorite app to use in the classroom. Over the course of the summer, I've been evaluating various apps that I would specifically view as useful for an educational environment. And a couple of those, one is called Course Smart. Some of you may be familiar with the Course Smart website. You have the ability, as faculty, we have the ability to have access to our textbooks. Most textbooks, it's not universal yet, but most textbooks, or a significant proportion of textbooks, are available through Course Smart. You can access the Course Smart once you get an account and you get approval for whatever textbooks you're using. There's two ways to access the Course Smart servers. One is with the Course Smart app. There's a specific app for Course Smart, or you can just go coursesmart.com, log in, and access through the browser. I have found I'm much more successful using the browser version as opposed to the application version. The reason why I don't like the app is two reasons. One is it's very slow to sign in, and it doesn't matter what sort of internet connection you have. It's just a very slow to sign in process. The web or the browser version is much faster to sign into and gain access to whatever textbooks you want to use. The other problem with the app is that every time you minimize it, not close it, but just push it to the background, bring up some other app to talk about, you bring Course Smart back up, it has to go through that whole sign-in process again. It doesn't stay logged in. And that's a problem in my mind in terms of kind of the flow of discussion in the classroom. So what I have is I just use the Safari browser. There are alternative browsers available for the iPad, but I've just stuck with the Safari browser. And I'm in my Course Smart. I'm in one of my textbooks here. And so it's pretty easy to navigate through the textbooks, go through page by page. You can zoom in on various pages, etc. The browser version works pretty well. I've been very satisfied with it. I don't find myself referring to the textbooks very often in the classroom, but if there's a particular table or a chart or a graph or something that you want to put up for display, it's easy enough to do that and use that as a frame of reference for the discussion. Okay, so I've kind of talked about a few things that don't work so well and how to work around them. There's also some really, really good apps out there that are available for that are particularly relevant for, I think, for us in the classroom. One is called New Annotate, and you don't need to take notes on this. I've got a PDF file with sort of all the apps that I've been evaluating and my kind of comments on them. Can we get that up on CTE? Okay, so we can get that up on the CTE website. One of them is called New Annotate, and what New Annotate does is it allows you to look at or work with PDF files. Let's take a look at a particular, let's see here.
Jim, you're accessing the files through Dropbox, right?
Yeah, I'll get back to that, David.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so what New Annotate does is it allows you to work with PDF files. What I've found as a result is, again, I don't use a lot in the way of PowerPoint presentations, but it's easy enough to convert a PowerPoint presentation to a PDF file. You can do that very easily now. But what New Annotate does then is it allows you to annotate as you go along in your discussion. So if I want to highlight something, I can do whatever sort of circles I can highlight. There's different
That's the stylus pen that you
Yeah, this is a stylus pen. I'll get to that too. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. So New Annotate allows you, as you're talking, if you have some particular points and you want to sort of say, okay, we've talked about that, and we're going along. One of the nice parts about, or several nice things about New Annotate is that it keeps everything in relative proportion. So if I zoom in, it keeps whatever annotations I've made in the same location, in the same proportion. So you don't lose the relative structure of the document. Also, once you have completed, if you've added notes or written comments to your file, you can then resave this as another PDF file. And you can email it to yourself, put it in Dropbox, load it up to your Blackboard course or whatever. So if you've got some significant annotations that you think that your students could benefit from, you don't have to replicate that. You can do that in the classroom, save it, and it saves the original file along with all of those annotations. So that's kind of cool. I really use New Annotate actually quite a bit. I even have let's see here, I think I put it in here. I just have a blank PDF file that I can use, and it's literally just 3 or 4 pages of just 3 or 4 blank pages where I can make written comments, draw stuff, graphs, charts, whatever it is that I want to do.
So built-in whiteboard.
So it's kind of like a built-in whiteboard almost, yeah. Exactly. You had a question or a comment?
I was just wondering if you use the Smart Symposium, and my biggest problem with all of these virtual whiteboards, which is sort of like what you're doing when you're on top of the PDF file, is the resolution. I just feel like I'm trying to write with a piece of chalk this big. In your experience, is this better than Symposium?
Yes, absolutely. Without
The iPad has better, is a better
I never got the hang of using the Sapodium. Now that might be my lack of dexterity. I'm perfectly willing to admit to that.
Podium monitors.
But they also have the same ability to annotate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They have the problem that I've always had is actually working with the screen. I've never been able to get it at quite the right angle. You know, I'm like this, so that makes it a little bit more challenging. I do have a stylus, which helps tremendously. You just need to make sure that you get a soft tip stylus, not a hard tip, sponge or rubber, so that it will work with the touch screen. The hard tip, the touch screen will not recognize the hard tip stylus. You've got to have something that emulates a finger.
Another stupid question. Does the tablet confuse resting your palm on it with, like we, and then, I don't know, when I write, my hand ends up on the paper.
New Annotate does not, because
I don't know, it seems like it ends up as a double touch or something.
no, because you have to specifically select the hand to be able to move the pages around. And if you have the stylus or the highlighter selected, that takes everything off except for the stylus. So it does a pretty good job of ignoring your wrist and palm. It's not absolute, but it does a fairly good job of ignoring that kind of stuff.
The screen is different than what we see on the projector.
No.
You've got some tools.
I've got some selection tools, yeah.
And it doesn't project that.
Oh, I'd never really noticed that, but I guess apparently, yeah. I never noticed that before, but
It doesn't show behind the curtain. That's good.
that's all right.
You gotta have your magic.
Do you find that students want you to save this and email it to them? Or do they still take notes?
They still take notes, and
'Cause I've had students either just sit there with their cell phone and take pictures. I'm not kidding.
no, I believe, yeah.
I mean, I can see how that might be, since you're not erasing it off the whiteboard, it's like, do they want you to save that and upload it with the PowerPoints or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I just do as a matter of course, but I still find that my students are taking notes, and they are presumably going back into the Blackboard or Moodle or whatever it is that you're using to look at what I've done and maybe compare with what they've done as well. But I haven't had any. I guess I do periodically get a question, are you going to post all this? But it doesn't seem to interfere too much with their willingness to actually take notes and add their own comments. I've got a lot of students now.
If they take notes, that's fine, but we
Right.
all know the truth that they're just not listening.
Well, yeah, there is that. Okay, so New Annotate is a very nice app. It's one of, I would say, of the apps that I've been reviewing, that's probably one of the more useful ones. Now, Dave also mentioned Dropbox. I use Dropbox, which is a document storage, a cloud document storage site. You get I think you get 2 gigabytes free. You can have a free account that will hold 2 gigabytes. Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. Dropbox. The nice part about Dropbox is that I have the Dropbox application on my Windows machine up in my office. I've got Dropbox on my iPad, and I've got Dropbox on my Linux machine at home. I use Linux on all my home PCs. I don't have files anywhere other than in Dropbox, and I periodically back up to an external hard drive, So when I make a change to a file, if I make a change to a file in the classroom, and I save that file back to Dropbox, then I know I've got that version on any computer anywhere on the planet that I access that file. and it will automatically keep track of any changes that I make. And for example, I make a change here, save it to Dropbox, then I go home and boot up my Linux machine. Dropbox automatically runs in the background and evaluates what files have been changed, changes them locally and or on the cloud if necessary.
I actually have a question, it's probably for the CTE team. Didn't we get some sort of a cloud with our new email migration?
Yeah.
And do we have software that allows us to access our cloud?
Actually, you have the SkyDrive is actually attached to your mail account, and you can just get to it when you log into Clawmail. You have to be on the web browser.
So you can't be using Outlook.
No, you can't do it from Outlook. You have to be in the web, and you can go from mail and well, you can.
Yeah, you can't do it in Outlook, but you do have an app associated with Microsoft Office that lets
Oh,
you
that's right.
lets you have a local folder for what's on your SkyDrive.
Yeah. And that's under more, and you can find an additional service.
Yeah.
However,
On a Mac anyway, it's Microsoft Document Connection. It's probably similarly named on your PC.
However, you cannot get to SkyDrive through Clawmail on the iPad.
No.
That is not possible. I don't know why. I don't know if it's an Apple side or a Microsoft side, but the SkyDrive piece is not active on the iPad. And it's not active in all, it's not universal in all browsers either, like Chrome. I don't think it works. I haven't seen that available in Chrome yet. At least not Chrome on the Linux machine. So anyway, all those compatibility issues. Okay, so new Annotate, really very nice app. Dropbox I like because it integrates really well with the hardware that I have. And I also have something called Documents to Go. Documents to Go will work with all of your Microsoft Office documents, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and so on. It is, in theory, a sort of a scaled down version of Microsoft Office, supposedly allowing you to edit Microsoft documents in real time. There are, however, it is I want to emphasize, a scaled down version. You don't have a lot of capability. Most of, for example, in Excel, you don't have any of the analytical tools available. Basically, what you have available in PowerPoint, Excel, and Word is some basic ability to modify text size and font and do some background color and that kind of stuff, but you don't have a lot of editing capabilities.
And that one was designed for, originally for the smartphones, Documents to Go.
Yeah, there's two of them. There's Quick Connect Office, and then there's Documents to Go. I tried Documents to Go. It's okay, but quite frankly, I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of editing on an iPad anyway, because you lose a lot of screen real estate with the virtual keyboard. You end up with about 2 inches worth of actual document available when you bring up the screen. Just to show you here. So this is a Word document being illustrated in Docs to Go, and here's some of the basic capabilities. So you can save the file, you can do some basic stuff with the font, you can change indent, bullet lists, and a little bit of search and replace and that kind of stuff, but it's fairly limited capability. I wouldn't be doing a lot of editing here. So if I wanted to add something here, you know, the virtual keyboard takes up a fairly substantial portion of the screen. Okay, so overall, I've been very happy using the iPad in the classroom. As I started out, you know, it's really nice not to have to carry my textbooks around, especially those 2,000-page accounting textbooks. Those things are kind of nasty to carry around all day. And so between that and Dropbox, I've now eliminated the need to carry textbooks around, and I've even eliminated the need to carry and subsequently lose a USB stick, because that's happened on more than one occasion. Any other? I've got like 1 minute left. Any other questions?
Are there any apps to be able to text with the iPad? You know, I talked to somebody once, they said they were able to text with their iPad. I've got the keyboard and the Mac.
I have.
I was wondering if text with it. Somebody told me it wasn't.
Yeah, you can, but usually the software companies that do that, you have to pay some really small yearly fee to be able to text for free to other people's phones.
Well, I'd like to be able to text on here.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't thumbs are big.
In my text from Google Voice.
Is there a, what is it?
Google
Anybody?
Voice.
Google Voice allows has texting. Yeah.
But that's,
No, well but they have SMS as well. Google Voice is the name, but I think it allows SMS. Yeah. But I have not played around with anything like that yet, so I don't know.
Just Googled it, and there's an iPad forum that has a whole section on, you know, how do you find the best text messaging. So,
Okay.
iPad, yeah, iPad forum, iPad users, yeah.
so just Google.
The iPad version.
I,
We've heard December. Yeah, December.
No one really knows.
yeah,
Yeah.
not even Apple. And fully.
General question. You have used iPad, I guess, a couple semesters, at least.
Well, just this summer.
Okay.
Yep.
And your impression, what is advantages to use iPad versus, suppose, Mac or regular PC?
That is an excellent question. It's a great question. To be quite honest, there's really not a whole lot more that I can do with the iPad than you can do with a PC in the classroom or a Mac or whatever. In fact, there are some significant limitations. The ability to edit, you know, is more difficult. I still find using a virtual keyboard and the limited screen real estate more challenging than sitting at home with a real keyboard and my 23-inch monitor. I mean, it's, you know, it's smaller real estate, virtual versus real keyboard.
But I think your aura changes, though. You become
Cooler. Well, see, now, right. Well, and clearly that's the more important element.
But I also think it's discipline specific because for mathematics, there are some apps. So the thing that makes the iPad great is that you open up a forum for the human imagination to make apps that will illuminate you, right? So for mathematics, for sure, there's some apps on the iPad that I cannot have on my laptop that will make a point that I've been trying to make for a decade in such a way with graphs and figures and motion and dynamics that no laptop could ever demonstrate, right? So for mathematics, it is vital, you know, to illuminate some things that I've tried to say in words that I simply could not say that someone who's made an app could absolutely do.
Right. I've got a couple.
No, because there are apps on the, there are apps but they aren't there yet. But they aren't, they're not, they don't exist. I agree. But the bottom line is that tomorrow I'm using this because my laptop is insufficient. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I downloaded a couple of graphing calculator emulators, right? And also, while we're talking about calculators or emulation, I use a financial calculator. We use those in accounting, obviously. And so it's really nice to be able to demonstrate for my students, okay, here's how we need to organize the data, and here's how, and this calculator, I think was like a $5 or $10 app, $5 or $10 app or something like that.
That's not on your laptop.
No, that's not available on my laptop. It's available on the iPad, and it exactly emulates the BA financial calculator, the BA2 financial calculator, which is what we generally recommend to our students. And then I had probably 3 or 4 students this summer go, as soon as I threw that up there, the first question is, oh, how do I get that? Because they've got iPhones, and they don't want to carry all the extra hardware.
It's cheaper too, isn't
Yeah, it's a lot less expensive than, well, the BA calculator is not all, it's not like the TI 83 or 84, which are 80, 100 bucks. But still, it is less expensive, and they have the advantage of not having to carry that extra piece of hardware. The one thing that you know your students will always have with them is their phone. Right? They might not have books, pens, paper. They might not have a bunch of stuff, but they will always have their phones with them. So, you know, and you're absolutely right. There are some, as the world exists today, there are some things that exist for the iPad and iPhone only that are not yet developed for laptops or the Macs.
Oh, the App Store, I mean, for Macs just crushes all. I mean, it's because they started first. Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable.
As compared to like the Android
Yeah,
store.
because they have to catch up.
They've got the catch-up factor, right? Okay. Okay.
And we are going to be looking into other tablets. Right. So
Yeah, I mean there's the competition is out there now.
Android, yeah, we're going to look at others.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
And if anyone's interested, we'll be doing a session on Dropbox and Evernote September 27th.
And just remember, you met an accountant with a little bit of a cool factor.
Isn't that rare? Isn't that rare? You should know I live with one.
Okay. So did you get what you needed out of that?
I assume so.
So on. There's a couple of apps that you need to learn how to use to do that.
That's part of that.
Yes, this just.
Do you use that?
Well,
Very cool. Now, I mean, you couldn't draw on a computer screen. People were asking.
no, you can draw